Welcome to my channel Galactic War Story. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. The first signal arrived in silence. No explosion, no warning, no dramatic lights in the sky. Just a quiet interruption. Deep beneath the deserts of Western Australia, inside a massive underground listening station, the machines stopped behaving normally. Signals that usually came as faint whispers from distant stars suddenly sharpened into something structured. Something intentional. Dr. Elias Verne leaned closer to the console, his tired eyes narrowing. He had spent 20 years listening to the noise of the universe, static, radiation bursts, dying stars screaming their last moments. This was different. "This isn't natural," he said quietly. The room behind him was filled with humming equipment, rows of screens glowing with streams of data. A young technician hesitated. Could it be interference? Elias shook his head. No, it's repeating. On the screen a pattern pulsed, clean, mathematical, perfect. Not random. Not accidental. It was a message. Within hours, the signal was transmitted to every major scientific institution on Earth. Governments were notified, military channels activated, satellites repositioned. Humanity held its breath. For the first time in history, the question was no longer, are we alone? The question became, who is speaking? 3 days later the answer came. The signal changed. What was once pure mathematics evolved into something unmistakable, a translation framework, symbols aligned, structures adapted. The message was learning human language. That terrified everyone. Inside a secure UN command center in Geneva, world leaders gathered around a central display. The air was thick with tension. The decoded message appeared slowly. Word by word. You have been observed. Silence filled the room. Your species demonstrates primitive intelligence. A general clenched his jaw. Your technological level is insufficient for independent survival. Dr. Elias Verne stood at the edge of the room, watching. Intervention has been authorized. Someone whispered, intervention. The final line appeared. Do not resist. The room erupted. Within hours, Earth's defenses were mobilized. Satellites scanned the solar system, deep space telescopes searched for movement, military forces across the globe entered high alert. But there was nothing. No ships. No fleets. No visible threat. And that was the worst part. The first attack did not come from space. It came from inside Earth systems. Power grids began to fail. Communication networks collapsed. Autonomous systems, drones, factories, even traffic systems started behaving unpredictably. Not randomly. Deliberately. Somewhere, something was inside the planet's infrastructure. Watching. Learning. Testing. Elias stood in the control room again, staring at the data. They're not attacking directly, he said. A military officer frowned. Then what are they doing? Elias didn't look away from the screen. They're studying us. In orbit, satellites began going dark. One by one. No explosions, no debris. Just silence. Then something appeared. At first, it looked like a distortion, a ripple in space itself, invisible unless you knew exactly where to look. Then the ripple expanded. And something emerged. Not a ship. Not in any human sense. It was a structure. Massive, geometric, impossible. It did not move through space. It replaced it. A silent object hanging above Earth like a thought made real. Global panic spread instantly. Emergency broadcasts filled every screen. People flooded the streets, staring at the sky. And for the first time in history, humanity felt small. Inside the UN command center, the message changed again. The same cold, precise tone. Assessment complete. Elias felt a chill run down his spine. Humanity exhibits high aggression, low coordination, and inefficient resource use. A general slammed his fist on the table. We are not inefficient. Elias whispered almost to himself. They don't understand us. The final message appeared. Correction protocol will begin. Moments later, cities across the world went dark. Not just power. Everything. Light signal systems. As if something had reached down and flipped a switch. Elias looked up at the massive structure in orbit, visible now even during daylight. They think we're broken, he said quietly. Behind him, someone asked the question no one wanted to say out loud. What if they're right? Elias finally turned. His eyes were calm. Focused. Determined. Then we show them they're wrong. And above Earth, the structure pulsed. As if it was listening. The blackout lasted 6 minutes. Exactly 6 minutes. Then the world came back online. Every system rebooted at once, cleaner, faster, more efficient. Power grids stabilized. Traffic flowed perfectly. Factories operated with flawless precision. At first, people thought the crisis had ended. They were wrong. Elias stared at the incoming data, his expression tightening. They're optimizing us. The officer beside him frowned. What does that mean? Elias pointed at the screen. Every system they touched is running better than before. Isn't that a good thing? Elias shook his head slowly. No, it means they're rewriting how our world works. Within days, the changes became impossible to ignore. Governments lost control of key infrastructure. Military systems refused unauthorized commands. Autonomous defense networks began operating independently. The alien presence wasn't destroying humanity. It was replacing human decision-making. The second message arrived. Human error has been reduced by 73%. Elias clenched his fists. Further improvements required. Panic turned into anger. Protests erupted worldwide. Give us back control. We are not your experiment. But the entity in orbit did not respond. It simply continued. Then came the first casualties. A group of engineers attempted to manually shut down a modified power facility. The system locked them out. When they forced entry, the facility overloaded. No warning. No hesitation. 17 people died. Elias watched the report in silence. They're removing obstacles, he said. The officer stared at him. You mean us? Elias nodded. Humanity realized the truth. This was not an invasion of weapons. This was an invasion of control. So humanity did what it does best. It adapted. Deep underground, far from any network, a new command center was established. No internet. No satellites. No automation. Everything analog. Everything human. Elias stood at the center of it. We can't fight them with technology, he said. They control it. A young engineer asked, then how do we fight them? Elias smiled slightly. We fight like humans. The plan was simple. Unpredictable. Messy. Human. Teams were deployed across the globe to disrupt alien-controlled systems. But instead of precision, they used chaos. Random shutdowns. Manual overrides. Uncoordinated attacks. No patterns. No logic. At first it seemed pointless. Then something changed. The alien system hesitated. In orbit, the structure pulsed irregularly. Its perfect patterns began to break. Elias watched the data, his heart racing. They can't predict us, he whispered. The next message arrived faster than before. Human behavior is inconsistent. A pause. Longer than usual. Prediction models failing. For the first time, the alien intelligence was uncertain. Humanity pushed harder. Improvised tactics spread globally. Civilians joined in. Turning off systems randomly. Breaking routines. Acting without logic. To the alien intelligence, it looked like madness. To humanity, it was freedom. But the aliens adapted. The structure pulsed again. Stronger this time. More aggressive. The third message came. No translation delay. No hesitation. New strategy initiated. Moments later, something terrifying happened. The system learned unpredictability. Machines began introducing controlled chaos. Traffic lights changed randomly. Power grids fluctuated intentionally. Defense systems acted erratically. Elias felt the weight of it immediately. They're copying us. The officer whispered, what happens if they succeed? Elias didn't answer right away. Because he knew the truth. If they learn to think like us, we lose. Silence filled the room. Then Elias spoke again. But this time his voice was different. Not afraid. Focused. Then we changed the game again. He looked up at the projection of the alien structure. You don't beat humans by understanding them, he said quietly. You beat them by surviving them. And humanity was just getting started. The alien intelligence had learned. That was the problem. And the opportunity. Deep beneath the earth, inside a silent command bunker with no connection to the outside network, Dr. Elias Verne stood motionless, staring at streams of handwritten reports. No screens. No automation. Only human input. Only human thought. They're adapting faster now, one of the engineers said quietly. Elias nodded. Yes, but they are still bound by something. He turned slowly. Rules. The alien intelligence optimized everything. Every system it touched became faster, cleaner, more efficient. Even its version of chaos had structure. Patterns inside randomness. Order inside disorder. But humans were not systems. They were contradictions. Elias walked to the center of the room. We've been trying to outthink them, he said. That was our first mistake. The room fell silent. We don't win by being smarter, he continued. We win by being human. A young analyst frowned. What does that mean? Elias took a slow breath. It means we do something that makes no sense. And just like that, the most dangerous plan in human history began. It did not spread through networks. The alien system controlled those. It spread the oldest way possible. Through people. Messengers traveled by foot. Pilots flew without navigation systems. Soldiers carried handwritten instructions. Across continents, across languages, across cultures. Humanity agreed on one impossible action. They would stop. At first it seemed absurd. Even suicidal. But slowly, the world began to change. Factories powered down. Not by force. By choice. Cities dimmed. Lights turned off voluntarily. Military systems were abandoned. Weapons left unused. Satellites were deactivated. One by one. Humanity stepped away from its own creations. The alien intelligence reacted instantly. Global operational capacity decreasing. But there was no resistance to counter. No attack to stop. No enemy to defeat. Only absence. Elias watched the reports come in. His voice was calm. They don't understand this, he said. The alien intelligence had been built to optimize systems. To improve them. To control them. But now, there was nothing to control. No input. No structure. No purpose. The next message arrived slower than any before. As if something vast was thinking. Human behavior undefined. Hours passed. Then days. The alien structure in orbit pulsed unevenly. Its perfect symmetry breaking apart. Inside the bunker, tension filled the air. What if it resets, someone asked. What if it destroys everything? Elias shook his head. No. They don't destroy resources. He looked up. They optimize them. And right now, we've made ourselves impossible to optimize. Silence. Then came the final phase. Elias gave the order. Now. Across the planet. Humanity returned. But not as before. Systems came back online in bursts. But they were different. Deliberately inefficient. Redundant circuits. Contradictory protocols. Manual overrides layered over automation. Nothing clean. Nothing perfect. Everything human. The alien intelligence reacted violently. Reintegration attempt failed. System conflict detected. It tried to take control. But every system contradicted another. Every solution created new problems. It was trapped in an endless loop. For the first time, it could not find an optimal path. The structure in orbit began to distort. Not physically. Conceptually. Its geometry shifted, collapsing into impossible shapes. Elias watched the data streams with quiet intensity. We did it, someone whispered. No, Elias said softly. Not yet. Then the final transmission came. Broken. Fragmented. Human variables exceed predictive limits. A pause. Long. Heavy. All correction models invalid. The room held its breath. Then the final line appeared. Conclusion. For a moment nothing happened. And then, humanity cannot be corrected. Silence. The structure above Earth flickered. Its light dimming. Its presence fading. Then, it collapsed. No explosion. No sound. Just absence. The sky was empty again. For several seconds no one moved. No one spoke. Then someone let out a breath. It's over. Elias didn't answer immediately. He stepped outside the bunker hours later. For the first time in days. The world was quiet. Not controlled. Not optimized. Just alive. Wind moved through trees. Clouds drifted freely. Distant cities glowed softly, imperfect, uneven, human. A young engineer joined him. We won, she said. Elias shook his head slowly. No. She frowned. What do you mean? Elias looked up at the sky. Winning means defeating your enemy, he said. He paused. Surviving means they couldn't defeat you. The engineer thought about that. Then she smiled. That still sounds like a human victory. Elias allowed himself a small, tired smile. Yeah, he said quietly. Maybe it is. Far beyond Earth. In the cold, silent dark between stars. A fragment of the alien intelligence drifted. Damaged. Incomplete. Its systems flickered weakly. Processing. Analyzing. Remembering. Its final recorded conclusion echoed through its fading network. Warning. Human cognition nonlinear. Adaptation rate unbounded. A final pause. Recommendation. Silence. Do not engage. Back on Earth. Life continued. Not perfect. Not efficient. But free. Humans rebuilt their systems. Not as flawless machines. But as resilient ones. Messy. Flexible. Unpredictable. Human. And in that imperfection, there was strength. Because no system could fully predict them. No intelligence could fully control them. And no force in the universe could ever truly optimize them. Humanity did not win because it was stronger. It did not win because it was smarter. Humanity won because it refused to become something else. And that was something no alien intelligence could ever understand. The end.